guest of honor, Maqbool, and dear friends. It's my privilege and indeed honor that I've been asked to introduce our friend of Free Kashmir, and a guest who's present with us on today's occasion. But before I do that, I want to say a few words of my own on today's reflection of today's occasion. When your motherland is occupied by foreign forces, I believe that you're living in a state of darkness. A state of darkness where your fundamental rights are denied. When I talk about Free Kashmir, I'm talking about state of Kashmir, my motherland, and I mean every inch of that land, which comprises 84,400 square miles of the land and its inhabitants. Shaykh Kashmir, in period of darkness, lit the torch of freedom. That torch, bright, shining today here in Bradford, that torch is bright, shining brightly in every corner of the globe and will continue to shine until the freedom of Kashmir is achieved. And I promise you, colleagues, friends, that my promise to play my part in that struggle will continue, because I believe it's my fundamental birthright to campaign and fight and achieve my birthright. And I will continue to do that, and I'll work with you and I'll work with the wider community to ensure it's achieved. When I was a student many years ago, I was involved in anti-apartheid campaign. I fought for the freedom for South Africa. That noble cause which people, international community around the globe fought for, Kashmir, freedom for Kashmir is equal noble cause which I'm fighting for, and I'll enlist the help and support of other people, because it is a noble cause. It's a noble cause which is often remembered in the history. History is my witness. History is my witness. God is my witness. You're my witness. No matter what impression, no matter what oppression, what inequalities, what brutalities lay in the way of people who are struggling for Free Kashmir, but those inequalities, brutalities cannot be sustained, will not last, and Kashmir will achieve its freedom. Inshallah. In the words of Shaykh Kashmir, Maqbool Bhat, in the days of darkness, his own words, which I like to quote you. He said, I would like the court to fulfill its duty, which has been given to it under a special order. At present, I have no other choice but to give myself in the merciless hands of time and wait for the day when the darkness and discrimination, malice, cruelty and exploitation will be replaced by the light of justice. That day I will ask for justice. That day of justice which our Shaheed, our kind Shaykh Kashmir, Maqbool was alluding to, is the day when the Kashmir will be free. I will, and you will, and the rest of the community will continue to struggle for that until Kashmir achieves its freedom and justice is achieved. When we talk about Free Kashmir, we're not just only talking about Kashmir from oppression, colonial oppression, any forms of exploitation. We're talking about freedom from inequalities, freedom from poverty, freedom from ill health, freedom from illiteracy, and many other forms of services which a good early citizen should expect from his state. I'm going to call upon our good friend of Free Kashmir, no other person than Member of Parliament, Right Honourable David Ward. David Ward has been long-standing friend of Free Kashmir. He has been there at a call from Kashmiri diaspora living in Bradford for all their needs, and those needs, and he's actually been able to assist those needs beyond the duty of law. David Ward is Liberal Democrat Member of Parliament for Bradford East constituency since 2010. But prior to being Member of Parliament, David Ward has distinguished public service, serving the residents of Bradford as an elected member for 25 years. I know personally David because when I worked at East Metropolitan University, David was a fellow colleague, a fellow professional worker, and we often exchange issues and dialogue and on many of the contemporary issues of the day. David Ward has set up a charity that focuses on the work of anti-racist and organisation that's committed towards community cohesion. David Ward has been the voice for downtrodden people here and internationally, and has raised a voice for oppressed communities, be those in Kashmir or in Palestine. David, we welcome you to today's gathering and would like to ask you to come to the stage and say a few words. David Ward, please give him a warm welcome. Thank you.
I'll try to avoid saying too much critical of India, getting suspended from the party again, but you never know sometimes what comes out of your mouth when you're talking, but I'll do my very best. I always try to attend this martyrdom anniversary. I think it's very, very important. There are a number of key dates in the calendar when we have the opportunity to raise the issue of Kashmir, and this is, I think, one of the most important. We are within a couple of days, I think, of the actual anniversary, which was the 11th, I think, of February. But also, isn't it to the day the anniversary of Azal Guru? I think that was on the 9th of February. So there's a lot to think about, a lot to recall at this present time. I don't know if any of you been to see the recent film, A Long Walk to Freedom, the Mandela film. I even read the book recently, but I'm quite aware, really, of the similarities in terms of, it's already very difficult, is it not? And this is the great debate that's taken place over the years. What's the difference between a freedom fighter and a terrorist? And the answer is, of course, the just cause, the thing that the person is fighting and standing for. Don't forget, Mandela was regarded as being a terrorist at one time. The decision to commute his sentence, of course, was to avoid the situation of Mandela becoming a martyr. And little, I suspect, did the judge at that time think through the consequences of that decision, because rather than as just simply, important though it is, simply remembering a Mandela martyrdom anniversary once a year, we had someone who, through an unbelievable personal journey, was able to contribute to peace, a peaceful solution to a problem that many thought had no solution at all. And we will never know, will we? We will never know the contribution that Maqbool could have made to a peaceful resolution of the situation in Kashmir. Now, it's customary to start these speeches on Kashmir by saying that I've been to maybe a couple of hundred over the years, as I'm sure that you have, many of them in this room. But it's, I think, a very justifiable question for you to ask. So what have you done? Because we've all been to the meetings, we've all heard the speeches, but I think it's legitimate. I think it is right for you to say, in addition to making speeches, what have you done? So I want to talk about some of those things because I know it's frustrating that we attend so many meetings over so many years and so little seems to actually happen. And I've been working with others on that very question, particularly in the last 6 months. Because I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of coming to meetings like this without there being an outcome. Now, we may not be able to resolve all of the issues, but it's important to make a contribution and to be doing something as opposed to be simply talking about the issue. So as I say, I've been talking to a number of people and thinking through how we can actually do things of a positive nature, practical things. I'm a practical person. I want to do things and not just talk about situations. Within the House of Commons, things, I have to tell you, are beginning to improve. And I said that I've attended many meetings. That includes meetings in the House of Commons. Many of which are, I have to tell you, quite poorly attended. There is an all-party parliamentary group in the House of Commons, and that also, although there are very many members of Parliament who have signed up, very few of them in the past have attended the meetings. I think that's really down to very much the same issue that I've already raised about MPs turning up to meetings, making a few speeches, disappearing, and nothing happening. So what we've sought to do really is to ensure that first of all there's some new energy in that group, and new members in that group, and not simply new members of Parliament, but people who can bring to the group some ideas for campaigning. One practical thing that we can do, and I hope you don't groan, because we all, in our own campaigns, raise petitions on many issues, and I know it's very easy to get signatures on a petition on almost anything. You can step outside this door right now with a petition on something and get some signatures on it from people walking past. But we are seeking a petition, a nationwide petition, to call for a debate in the House of Commons. It's about 3 years since we've had a Kashmir debate. But we need a debate really to raise the awareness of the issue, but also to ensure, as Councillor Ajib was saying, that the Parliament itself is putting pressure not only on the United Nations, but on the European Union as well. The European community has, I believe, a part to play. So we're looking for 100,000 signatures on a petition. You can sign the petition online. This is not, incidentally, and crucially, this is not me or the Liberal Democrats. I believe all of the Bradford MPs have signed the petition already. So here's the petition form. You can sign it on, there's an e-petition which you can sign up to as well. But we are seeking to get signatures from all over the country, which are then presented to the MPs from all over the country. So it isn't just a campaign in Bradford. It's a nationwide campaign involving members of Parliament from up and down the country. If you help us with this petition, and I hope you can help us to get the signatures that we require. We've been outside the mosque the last 2 weeks, Man the Mosque and then Ababaka this Friday. but you can do the same for us. Don't forget, these are not signatures for me or for the Liberal Democrats. They are for the nationwide petition that we're collecting. The aim of that will be not for one MP to put the petition in, but if we get 100,000, we can get the debate, but we'll also have the opportunity, 20, 30, 40 MPs to be there to hand the petition in to the Speaker of the House of Commons. That will be an enormous, I can't think, in all my time, limited though it is, of a petition from so many MPs on one single issue. We've got the MPs who have signed up to this, from Birmingham, from Manchester, from Rochdale, from Oldham, from all over the country. We've got the MPs who have signed up. What we now need are the signatures themselves. So all of the MPs, 30, 40, 50, why not 200 MPs who have petitions from their own areas which can then be handed in. Failing that, there are still other things that we can do. We had a group that came down from Bradford last week on a bus. I think they left around about 9:30 in the morning and got back at 1:30 the following morning. But they came to a meeting that we had in the House of Commons. A very, very well attended meeting. I think there was something like 20 or 30 members of Parliament turned up to that, as well as people again from all different parts of the country. And I have to say that there is a new energy. Remember what I said about the APPG and it being quite poorly attended over the last 2 or 3 years? That's not the case now. There is a new sense of urgency, certainly a new sense of energy about that. The advantage of the all-party parliamentary group is it is just that. It isn't one party. It carries weight, it has influence because it is MPs from different parties. So we had MPs and members from the community, including, I'd say, around about 50 from Bradford. And as I said, it was one of the most amazing meetings I've ever attended because not only do we have 50 people from Bradford there, but we had 50 people from Bradford there, and it actually started on time, which was truly remarkable. So thank you very much indeed. But to go all that way and to make that effort showed solidarity. This was Solidarity Day, and what a fitting tribute to the 5th of February, the Solidarity Day, to have that show of solidarity on this issue across the House of Commons. It was really good to watch. We can also ask questions. We have the opportunity to ask questions of the Foreign Office, of international development on a regular basis, but we need to get those good questions going forward. On the very day that people came down to Bradford last week, in the Westminster Hall, there was a 90-minute debate on Gaza and the humanitarian situation, deplorable, awful situation that exists in Gaza at the present time. That came about, not by chance, but by organisation of people coming together and calling for that debate. What we need to do is to ensure that a similar level of commitment is there on the Kashmiri issue as well. We can raise questions, we can initiate debates, we can do petitions, but none of these things on their own amounts to a campaign plan. They are part of a plan. They are not the end result. They are part of a plan, and I have to tell you at the present time, the main problem that we face on the Kashmir campaign is we do not have a plan. We have a lot of people who feel very strongly about the issue. We have no end of issues to raise. The cause itself is a powerful cause. But I have to say we are totally disorganized. I know, because I can see, whether it's the Palestine issue, whether it's what is happening in Syria, we can see extremely well organized campaigns, and the Kashmiri campaign is disorganized. And we need simply to organize better and to get a plan, so that when we do things, it's part of a plan, and not simply something that we've thought of doing that week It all has to be coordinated and it has to come together. One of the speakers at the conference, and I said this was all party, is an ex-Labour councillor from Birmingham, and Najam Hafiz, made quite a powerful speech and talked about the need for faith, first of all, to make sure that what we're doing fulfills the faith that people have in us. So this isn't just about us having faith that one day we will see freedom in Kashmir. This is about showing the people in Kashmir who hear about this that they can have faith in us, that they are not forgotten, that no one cares. So we need to show that their faith is justified. She also talked about unity, and we need to be unified. We cannot have numerous voices. India will never agree to a plebiscite when it knows it would lose. Some people who want the plebiscite want a different outcome. Some want self-determination so that there is freedom and independence for Kashmiris. Some want a referendum, plebiscite, because they would want it to be controlled by Pakistan. What happens should be for the people of Kashmir to decide. What we need to do, first of all, is give them that right to decide for themselves. So we can, whether we favour the Pakistan option or whether we favour self-determination leading to independence, we can work together to ensure we work towards that plebiscite and put against. Speak with one voice. That's what we need to do. No divisions. As soon as you divide, you weaken, and you allow the cracks to open up, which the Indian government takes full benefit from. Faith, unity, and finally discipline, which is what I've been talking about, the need for an organised campaign. We are seeking to strengthen the all-party parliamentary group, and we need to raise money. Most of the all-party parliamentary groups, almost without exception, and there are many, many of them, have well-paid support for them. So that when it comes to question time, there is always 4 or 5 questions on Palestine. There's always 3, 4, 5 questions on Syria. There's always 3, 4, 5 questions on Sudan or the Congo. We need there to be 3 or 4 questions every single month when foreign questions comes up. There needs to be questions on Kashmir provided for the MPs. Don't say it's their job to do it, because they are receiving questions about Palestine. They are receiving questions about Syria. They will put the questions in, but they need the questions to be provided. So that's what we're looking to do, to professionalise this campaign. It's a little bit like a competition, and I'm sorry if that sounds trite, but it's a bit of a competition for the attention of the MPs, for the attention of the media, against other very, very worthy causes from across the world, whether it's Sri Lanka, whether it's Malaysia, wherever it may be. Atrocities are taking place, Tibet, wherever it may be. These campaigns and organisations are very well organised, and we need to match them. Councillor Ajib, ex-former councillor Ajib, former Lord Mayor, was very right what he said in the House of Commons this week. The imperative here is to ensure that we move towards a peaceful solution, and the more that we fail to do that, the more we open this up to extremists. With troops leaving Afghanistan, Russian troops leaving there is the danger that we actually see more and more extremists vacating Afghanistan and going through to Pakistan and being involved in the Kashmiri issue. I don't know if you're aware of the armed forces. There's a special legislation which in effect provides impunity to Indian troops. And I know that the Indian government is looking to use the changes that are taking place in Afghanistan to justify this outrageous legislation. So we can see that this is shifting and moving as part of geopolitical issues. But we need that level of expertise. We need that level of knowledge. I will be meeting within the next 2 weeks somebody called Victoria Schofield, who's probably written more books on Kashmir and the whole issue of the conflict than any other Western author. But I'll also be meeting with Amnesty International within the next 2 weeks. I'm a long-standing member of Amnesty International. And what we need to do, pending the hopefully peaceful solution to the Kashmir issue, we have got to stop the murders, we have got to stop the rapes, we have got to stop the violations of human rights that is taking place day in, day out. Whoever's committing them, whichever side. And so what we need to do is not only to raise the whole of the Kashmiri issue and self-determination question, but the human rights of the ordinary Kashmiris who are pawns in a much bigger game and day by day are suffering. I hope that I've managed to convince you that I'm trying as much as I can. Maybe I can do more, and if I can do more, then please let me know how. It is a strong issue, an issue I feel strongly about. I hope you can see that. But I am trying as best I can, and if I can do more, then please let me know how. Thank you.
Thanks very much. अगर कोई दोस्त कोई क्वेश्चन करना चाहता है डेविड वाट से तो वो कर सकते हैं.
Absolutely. One of the reasons I feel so strongly about the Palestinian issue is because it was a complete mess created by the British. And it's not the only one. If you look around the globe, you could find many other examples of that. And Kashmir is one more. It's one more. This is why I feel, as a British politician, the British government, above anyone else, has a responsibility to be involved. Now the answers to the questions, because we ask these questions at question time, what are you doing about the situation? And the standard response is, this is an issue between Pakistan and India. My view is that is not a good enough answer. That is not a good enough answer for a British Foreign Affairs Secretary to accept. And they must accept the responsibility as the former colonial power. They must accept that responsibility and see themselves as having a special role above anyone else in stepping forward. Can I just answer another question about the Lib Dem policy? There isn't really that much difference, despite what they may tell you, between all the main political parties in the House of Commons. What they will do is they will give you the standard answer. United Nations has a resolution, self-determination through a plebiscite, and that's what should happen. The big question that they need to answer is, well, what the hell are you doing about it? In terms of pressure on the United Nations. And also, and this is the big sticking point with all the political parties in Westminster, and that is the power of India as a trading nation. It is one of the four, the BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India and China. It is seen as being one of the fastest growing, it is one of the fastest growing economic powers in the world. And we've already seen Vince Cable, David Cameron, I'm not sure, I don't think Clegg has been there, but he probably will be going soon. All of them will be going there with the aim of signing trading deals. Now we can understand that, we want our own economy to flourish, we want to be exporting and so on. But what we need to do is see the desire of the Indian government to expand its economy as a lever through which we can then raise the Kashmir issue. So there should never ever, whoever the minister is, the Secretary of State, Prime Minister, Deputy Leader, or indeed opposition leaders, there should not be a single visit to India to discuss economic matters without raising the issue of Kashmir.